it takes a long time or no time at all for you to step into your confidence and recognize when no means no for you and to say it. Okay. Women, we will put up with a lot of things because we want to be loved or we want to be chosen, or we think that if somebody likes us, that that's enough. But what do you want? What do you need in a partner? Welcome to the Wisdom Channel. Bring love to the playground with me, Lisa Eve. I'm so glad you're here. In each episode, we'll go deep and we go real. We talk about healing, self-love, spiritual growth, and finding your way back to joy. Because life is meant to feel lighter than this. So settle in, take a breath, and let's play. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Wisdom Channel. I'm your host, Lisa Eve, and I'm so grateful to be here. Yay! I made it to a year of recording this podcast. It's a big deal for me. So I'm really happy and grateful to still be offering these podcast episodes. And thank you so much for joining me as well. However you came to find me, I am so grateful you are listening or watching. And as I like to start all the episodes, let's do our hand on heart exercise, because it really does help us to ground us into our bodies. And if you're just joining me for the first time, I really love this, because when we are very active in our minds, in our days, in the things that we do, we are not present most of the time. We are not checking in with ourselves and our higher selves, which always guide us. Like our intuition is always guiding us. But if we are not quiet enough with ourselves, we will not hear our intuition or feel our intuition, because we're constantly scattered brain, or if you like a lot of activities and you're constantly going from one activity to the next activity and so forth and so on, you might not actually have that time for yourself. So hand on heart. And if you don't have hands and you're not able to do hand on heart, then just focus on your heart space. Even if that's a pacemaker, just tune into you. Okay? Just close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart. Doesn't matter which hand. Tune into you. However you can do that right now. And if you can't, close your eyes right now because you're driving or you're at work or whatever the case is. Just take a moment to breathe. And the way I like to do this is I inhale through the nose and I exhale through the mouth. And it's an audible exhale. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold it in. Don't be nervous about who can hear you. Let's just let it come out. Exhale. Okay. So we're going to do this 4 times. And I'm going to start now with an inhale. Exhale. You probably heard me exhale. That was 1 round. Let's do 2, 3, 4. Okay. On your own time. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with you. I didn't know if I was going to make it to a year. It took a lot of effort for me to do this podcast, to create time in my schedule. I like freedom. I like to have a wide variety of choice of things to do. I don't usually like a set schedule. but I kept feeling this calling. I need to put myself out there more. And so in a way I obliged. Okay. And also I don't usually know what I'm going to talk about episode to episode. It usually just shows up within about 24 to 48 hours before. And I also pre-record these episodes. Well, lately I've been pre-recording the episodes and not doing them live. As I started a year ago, they were live. Still though, the messages that you need to receive now are the messages that need to come through that I am sharing with you. And this episode is all about speaking my truth and inviting you to speak your truth as well. Because isn't it time to just be free from all that weightiness of holding in the lies? And it might not even be lies. It might just be like, I have something I want to say and I haven't said it yet, and I need to get it off my chest so I can live lighter, right? Because a lot of times we'll hold on to something. And just as a generic light example, I was friends with somebody. We were talking weekly, maybe. I don't remember exactly. But we were talking frequently. And at a certain point, it felt like she didn't want me to be happy. Like I would share some things with her and then she would respond. And it just felt like she didn't truly want me to be happy. Now, from her perspective, she would probably disagree with that. She would probably say, no, I wanted the best for you. Something inside of me, though, was like, this isn't working for me. And I ended the friendship just like that. Like I just stopped talking to her. I just stopped scheduling the calls. I was busy. And it was still weighing on me, though. Like she wanted to know what happened. What happened? Like we just stopped talking. Is it something I said? And I didn't feel like I could share with her that I felt like she didn't want to be happy because I knew she'd probably disagree. It's just something I felt intuitively. It was like a mismatch in the energy or the frequency or just the way that we spoke with one another. And years passed. I mean, like she unfriended me on Facebook and I mean, I kept the door open, but I really wasn't communicating with her until one day I was like, I just need to let her know it wasn't anything really that she had done wrong. It was just that I didn't feel in alignment with the communication anymore. And so I shared with her just out of the blue. I sent her a message and I said something like, I'm sorry I cut out of communication so abruptly. I just felt X, even though I don't think you would have felt that way, but this was the reason why I did that. And I'm so sorry if I hurt your feelings. And I'm sorry for the way that I cut out and just moved on with my life and didn't say anything. And oftentimes in relationships, communication is so important, right? Like if we don't communicate with each other, then we can't get on the same page. We can't move forward in our lives. And even though intuitively I felt like we just weren't on the same page, it still probably would have been nice for her to know that then. The way that I handled it, where I just cut out and didn't say anything, probably wasn't handled properly. And like I said, I still had that on my mind. Like, I should probably tell her because I really liked her as a person. I still like her as a person. Like, present day, I still like her as a human being. I just felt like we were mismatched in the communication. And then further, I took that further, right? I didn't communicate with her why I felt like we were mismatched in the communication. So oftentimes we will hold back our truth. Let's say even if like white lies, right? We don't want to tell someone that we think they look bad when they ask us. But again, it's like, are we holding back something that could help another? And I wouldn't say it's a lie. It's more so, are we omitting the truth because we think we're protecting somebody? Like that happened to me where a group of people withheld information from me, maybe because they were trying to protect themselves or protecting me from being hurt, but I still found out anyway. And when I found out, it hurt so bad, so deeply. It was like a knife through the heart type of hurt, because I was offended that they didn't have the courage to share with me that they were doing this thing together without me. And let's say it's a group trip, and I thought even if I wasn't invited, they would have told me that they were going, and they didn't. And it was a sensitive subject anyway, because we had a past history around taking a trip together. So I just thought that they would have had the courage to at least tell me, hey, Lisa, we're going to go take this trip together to this place, and we want to do it without you. We didn't know how to share this with you. Something though, because when I found out, it was that they were leaving like in a week's time, but we had been spending all this time together, like holidays, and we would have dinners together, and they wouldn't say anything, and they'd be all interested about my travels, but not sharing anything about themselves taking a trip together. And, I had also asked one of the people in the group, would you like to travel with me? I think that would be a lot of fun. And they were like, no. And so all this while though, they were planning a trip. And yeah, when I found out, I was completely blindsided and just really hurt. So communication is very important. I believe that when we are holding on to things, I don't know if it's really doing something for another that is kind. Same thing like in relationships, romantic relationships, why men cheat or why women cheat and why we lie to each other, how we're really feeling because we don't want the relationship to end, but the relationship will probably end anyway because it's not built on truth, right? There are ways that we can communicate with one another so that we can, in a way, bridge the gaps that we are feeling between one another. And, there's so many people in the world. There's so many people, like, why I say this, romantically in a relationship, right? We choose one and forsake all others. Why do we do that? There's so many people, amazing people in the world. Is there just one person for us? I don't know. I don't know if there's just one person who can check all the boxes that we have for a partner. And do we only have to have one partner in this lifetime? So I am nearing 50 years young, and I've never been married, and I never thought that I would not be married or in a relationship, like a serious relationship by this time. And I haven't been in a real relationship. I haven't been in a real relationship in a long, long time. If I told you how many years, you'd probably be like, what the fuck? So let's just say it's been a long, long time, many years. And I've chosen that, though. I've chosen this path. And I feel like I chose this path because the people who I was attracting into my life were not a fit for me. And I didn't want to try and squeeze a round peg into a square hole or kind of make it work, maybe compromise on some of my deal breakers. No, I really didn't. I feel like as women, we really know quickly whether or not someone is for us. And while we can wait and see, like, yes, sometimes getting to know somebody beyond the exterior appearance can change whether or not we actually are attracted to somebody. Still, there has to be something that opens the door for us that would give us the comfort or the safety to feel like we can explore more. And I want to share a little story about something that happened this week for me. Someone from my past, I was a client of his, like he provided a service for me. We weren't interested romantically, at least I wasn't, okay? It was just more like he provided a service for me and I felt safe with him. He had spiritual gifts, and I know what you're thinking, but don't go there, okay? Let me just share the story. He had spiritual gifts, and like he could sense something was off with me. And at the time I had, like a day before, I had a panic attack, and he could sense something was off, even though I didn't say it right. And he elaborated on that. And then I shared, oh yeah, well, I did just have a panic attack and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit about a few things. And then he talked about my health, and I was like, yeah, well, actually, yes, these things are going on. Okay. So in some way I felt safe with him because he could see things like I can see things, or feel things or hear things, and I felt like I could communicate openly with him. Like I could be vulnerable and share, and I felt okay with that. And although we didn't formally exchange numbers to stay in touch, he had my WhatsApp, and whenever I would post in my stories, he would maybe comment from time to time. But I wasn't really like engaged in furthering anything with him. He and I lived in different countries, far, far away, right? Because, I travel a lot, so I meet people when I travel. Anyway, then he would say, well, when you come here, let me know. Maybe I can like meet up with you and we can share some time together. Okay. About a year and a half ago, I came to the location, or like the similar cities in the country. But I was like in and out, like in 2 days I was flying out again and we couldn't meet up. And then this time I knew I was going to be in his country nearby. So I was like, hey, I'll be here. If you want to meet up, okay, let me know. But intuitively, because the last trip I took, my spirit team was like, no more people pleasing. They were like, you need to let him come to you. There's no meeting him in the middle, because where he is about 3 hours drive. And so I was thinking about meeting up in the middle and going to do something fun in the middle. And my team was like, no, he needs to come to you. Okay. So he did. He drove 2.5 hours to come see me. And I felt like it was just an opportunity for us to have a conversation, to just catch up. I mean, it's been like 2.5 years since we met. We haven't really spoken much on WhatsApp. He had let me know in the past that he was interested in me romantically, but I never agreed to anything there. Okay. So when we met up, we were just walking through a mall, and then I was hungry because I hadn't eaten most of the day. So I was thinking we're going to have dinner, and chat. So we went and I had dinner. He didn't eat anything. He ate something before he came, but I was eating. And sometimes the way that I am, I like to pay for things so that I'm not expected to do anything because they paid for me. Okay. I know, girls, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I offered to pay for my meal, and he's like, no, I'm paying for your meal. I'm like, okay, just saying. Okay. So we walked around a little bit after, and then he said that he wanted to share something with me that might be personal, or he wanted to ask me some personal questions. And at that point, I did feel comfortable enough just having the conversation with him to invite him back to the Airbnb where I was staying. Now, I was not intending to do anything romantic. Okay. I was just curious about what he wanted to ask me, and I didn't want to be in a public space when I shared it. And yeah, I still had my distance though when he came into the apartment. I didn't sit close to him. I was making sure he knew that I had boundaries. And the personal question was, yes, deeply personal. Like, he wanted to know what happened in my childhood, why I am the way that I am. He had this feeling about me. But why were we talking about this anyway? I don't know. And then at a certain point, he asked me if this was a date. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't feel like this is a date. And he's like, I think it's a date. And I was like, what is a date for you? He's like, well, to men, a date is dinner, conversation, and we have sex. And I was like, immediately, well, this is not a date because we are not having sex. And I was really uncomfortable at that point. Okay. Like, did he come to, don't say that. Okay. I know what you're thinking, but did he drive? Okay. Did he drive 2.5 hours thinking he was going to get laid? Like, that's not the conversation that we were having in text. And I was really pissed off. Like, what the fuck? And at that point, my energy shifted. I could understand from his perspective maybe what he's thinking, but I never alluded, like, I never had any sexy talk in the text messages. I didn't allude to anything. I wasn't showing him pictures of myself in any sexy way. There was nothing like that. Like, this is a date. No, I wasn't feeling like that. So I was really upset. And my truth came out immediately. No, we're not on a date because we are not having sex. And then he proceeded to tell me things about men in this country and how men and women interact with each other, and that men and women get together and it's for a money exchange. And I was like, well, this is not me. And I could have paid for my own meal. Okay. So I don't know where this is coming from, and that's not who I am. And yeah, and then he proceeded to share a kind of dark story about his past. And after that, I was done. I was like, this is not going anywhere. I need to get this guy out of here. I felt very uncomfortable. And I abruptly ended the conversation. I was like, I'm done. I can't have this conversation anymore. And then he asked if he could have a hug. And I said, no, just straight up, no. And he left. And that was it. Like, he was like, I'm sorry, I left that way. And I was like, I'm sorry I ended it abruptly, but this is why. And I just felt like I needed to say my truth about what it was. You know, this is about us owning who we are in the moment. This is what the episode is about. It's about, who are you? Speak your truth. Release that so you're not holding on to it. Stand up for yourself. And in the past, I would have just stayed uncomfortable. I would have just hung out. I don't know. In the past, I don't think I had the confidence. I was more afraid of what the man might do to me if I said no. I know a lot of women can relate to this, especially if we or you experienced abuse growing up. And yeah, I don't want to get too much into that. I just wanted you to know that it takes a long time or no time at all for you to step into your confidence and recognize when no means no for you and to say it. Okay. women, we will put up with a lot of things because we want to be loved or we want to be chosen, or we think that if somebody likes us, that that's enough. But what do you want? What do you need in a partner? And we might not ever say that. And so I'm going to tell you now what it is that I need in a partner. I need someone who is respectful across the board, is not expecting anything from me. Okay. You have your own thing going on. You don't need me to rescue you. You don't need me to coach you into how to be my boyfriend. You don't need me. You don't need me. Okay. Like, I feel like at this point in my life, I would love to have a partner. I've said this many times in previous episodes, and I was like, shit, do I really need a partner though? Like, am I sharing this with you to say like, girl, am I being needy? I don't want to be needy. I'm just saying, like, I've been single a long time on purpose, and I'm also not going to settle for anything that I don't align with. Like, two people, amazing people, can come together with amazing lives. Okay. Like, this is what I want, right? What I want when I want it, when I feel like, okay, I am ready to open my heart just a little bit more. I'm not settling, and I am fine being by myself, because look, I'm still living in the world. I'm still traveling around the world. I'm still buying my own food. Okay. I'm still going to take myself out to dinner. I'm still going to watch movies by myself. Okay. I don't really go to the movie theater anymore, but my point is that I am comfortable doing things by myself. I enjoy my alone time, and at times it would be nice to share myself in company with others. And if the energy or the frequency or the conversation is not in alignment, I am okay being at home by myself and eating another meal by myself, because I'm not going to subject myself or degrade myself or lower my standards because I want to enjoy a meal with somebody. And this is my invitation for you as well. Like, I watch Pop the Balloon or Find Love on like every Wednesday, or I'm like going through binge watching like all the episodes. And I like watching it because it really is, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, we see the appearance of everybody who comes on the show and might be like, no, definitely not that person. Right. But when you listen to how they speak and they share, everything shifts, because people are different than just their appearance. So I like to watch the show because I get challenged as well. Like, I think I know what I'm going to know about that person, and based on how they're dressed, and then it's definitely not that way. And we judge each other all the time. We are always judging someone's appearance. But I know from doing this podcast, you're not going to remember me by what I'm wearing and what my background is. You're going to remember the words that I'm sharing with you. You're going to maybe remember the stories I share with you. There might be something that resonates for you, that you feel in alignment with, that helps you somewhere on your path. You're going to remember the words. You're not going to necessarily remember the physical, because some of you are listening via audio and some of you are watching this. But I don't know that, either one of them really matters. It's just like, what's your preference? And when we are listening to somebody sitting across from us on a date, okay? Good Lord. I really hope though that men, please tell me that this is not how you go into every date, that you're going into it expecting sex at the end. And if it is, can you just tell us that so we are aware? Because it's so disappointing, isn't it? When you don't get that, like when you're going into something expecting X and then you don't get X. Yeah. I mean, I've taken classes about understanding men, and I know men and women think very differently. But good gosh, good Lord, whatever. For goodness sake. I was so disappointed when this guy said that to me. And I wasn't attracted to him. Like, I wasn't attracted physically, but I felt safe because he also could sense things and was open in sharing that with me. So back to what I need in a partner. I need someone who respects my work, supports the work that I'm doing, doesn't want to change me, and has his own thing going on, is ambitious, loves to create something beautiful for the world, like really wants to be in service. And it's not all just about the money. Okay. And I know that we need money to live a nice life. And I want my life to be in service slightly different. Like, I'm not all about the money. Get the money, get the money. If you've ever met me, you would know that that's not who I am. I've done a lot of this work for free. I mean, this podcast is free, right? You're not paying for it. Nothing's on Patreon. You're not paying a subscription to listen to me share. So yeah, I'm grateful that I've done well enough that I can support these episodes and put this content out for you. And at a certain point, this might change. I might charge different fees for my services. I might actually change what I offer. And in a partnership with somebody, I would really just hope that he has his own thing going on. I'm not here to rescue anybody. And if you book a session with me, I won't date you. Just so you know. I felt like I needed to come on here and tell you the truth, because I feel like there are people who are interested. Like, they might wait for my videos and they might be watching or listening and they're curious about me and want to do some business with me. And I'm open to that. Just know that I will not entertain you romantically if you book a session with me. Like, you just want to test my services out and see what she's all about and want to know what I know about you. Okay. Once you book a session with me, I won't date you. And I'll be so disappointed, especially if I wanted to get to know you too. But I don't like people who test me either. Okay. So if you like me, ask me out on a date. Okay. But if you're asking me out on a date to have sex with me, that won't happen with me. Okay. And I'm not saying that I won't have sex. I'm just celibate for the moment. Okay. I have not had sex in a few years, and I'm okay with that. It's what my body needed. My body needed a break from all of that. And that's what I'm honoring right now. So I'm just communicating honestly and authentically with you that this is where I am. And my truth might not be your truth, right? So this is why sharing with each other and communicating with each other and being open with each other will help others say, no, she's not for me, or I still want to learn more, right? And in everything that you do in your life, friendships, family relationships, when we're honest with each other, that's how we are able to bridge our differences. You might not agree with the way that I live my life, and that's okay. I might not agree with the way you live your life, and that's okay. And if we are interested in actually having a relationship, we will respect our differences with each other, and we will also be honest with each other, because the truth is our freedom. So imagine that you are in the lineup of Pop the Balloon and someone comes out and you're really not feeling them. And then they speak and you're like, oh, okay. But there's still something that you're not attracted to. That's going to eat away at you. And I feel like in this day and age, we don't want to judge a book by its cover. We don't. And we also have intuition. So I would invite you, honor your truth. Honor your truth. There's so many people in the world. So many people in the world. And if you don't meet that person right now at this time, the person that you want to be with, just wait. Just wait. And you'll learn things about yourself. You might actually like being alone. I mean, I feel like sometimes it's just easier being single. That's my truth. And then I meet someone and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm single. And I don't feel like I have to be in a relationship to be happy. I'm in a relationship with myself. And there was somebody who reapproached me from my past. And I told him I was in partnership with somebody. And the truth was, I was choosing to be in partnership with myself. I just didn't want to be engaging with that again. So if he's listening, that was my truth at the time. It's still my truth. I don't feel like we're a match, okay? And I still think about him. And wonder, but every time there's like a thought, I remember what it was like. And I was like, no, this wasn't a match. It's just not the right timing. And that's the other thing. You know, we can meet the right person, wrong time, or wrong person, right time. I don't know how that really works, but we are not always in alignment with each other. And there's a reason for that. We either still need to grow into who we are, like learn more about ourselves, have the courage to say no to things that don't work for us in the moment. So just please let this be your time to share your honest truth with others when you meet them. If you're not feeling them, pop that balloon. I mean, in the words of Arlette, pop that balloon if you're not feeling them. And if you are interested in somebody, why not just take a chance and ask? Like, just be straight up though. Be straight up. Like, hi, are you single? Just ask. Because you won't know unless you ask. And would you like to have a conversation one day? Because, you know, if you have been communicating with someone on social media, you really don't know them. Even though you might be watching them for a while, you think you know them. You think you know me because I'm sharing every 2 weeks and what I share sounds like you know everything about me, but you probably don't. So if you're interested in somebody, ask the question like, hey, would you like to have a conversation? There's no expectations on the conversation. You're just getting to know somebody. You just want to know whether or not there's alignment there. And if there's no alignment, then you can say, thank you for the conversation. And then you cross that person off your list. Or if it goes well, you both are open to it. You continue the conversation until it works for you or it doesn't work for you. Yeah. The truth of the matter. It's really the truth of your heart. What does your heart want to say? So many of us live by what someone else wants for us and what we think we're supposed to do. Or what's expected of us. Like if I don't do this for this person, they're going to walk away. Or it could even be worse than that. If I don't do this for this person, they're going to say something to other people about me. And I don't want that. So I will do this thing because I feel like it protects me. But there's a but. Because you might be feeling suppressed. I don't like to get into like the dark, heavy stuff, okay? But I feel like if there's anyone who's listening to this who is being blackmailed, just speak your truth. Find someone and speak your truth. Let someone else know what's going on with you. Don't ever suppress what you know is true for you. Sometimes we're just really scared. I know it. I know we can be really scared to speak our truth because we're afraid of what's on the other end of when we do speak our truth. And what I've learned on my path is that I won't feel free or freed up until I actually do speak my truth. And since we're in the era of no more people pleasing, the only person you're meant to please right now is you. So if you can, I invite you to speak your truth, even if it's hard and scary. Just don't be vulgar. Okay, like, please don't be vulgar. Like, there's ways that we can communicate with each other that is respectful. Why can't we be respectful with each other? I mean, it's like a rhetorical question, but it's like, really, why can't we be respectful with each other? How can we be more kind with ourselves and each other? Me speaking up for myself and saying no to this gentleman and basically ending the night abruptly was being kind to myself, honoring myself, honoring my own boundaries. It's like, no to the hug. Like, he wants physical touch, clearly. No to the hug. Seriously. It was like, ugh, no. So wherever you are on your path in your journey, start speaking up for yourself. You know when it's a no. A teacher from me on my path, Jacob Lieberman, brilliant man, lives in Hawaii on Maui. He said, say yes to your knowing. Say yes to your knowing. You know when something is right for you. Honor that. I also saw someone on Instagram, a woman, I don't know her name, but she said, what's not meant for you will disappoint you 1,000 times. Like, how much more clear can that get? Right? And I do believe that we have journey, like we have a journey here, and our growth happens when we are uncomfortable. And yet, I don't feel like we're supposed to suffer to encourage growth. Like, it can be for this amount of time, right? Not this amount of time. So when we are changing where we live, for example, and we're learning a new city, it might be uncomfortable. It might be a little bit challenging because we're learning something new. We're outside of our comfort zone. But something should not continually disappoint us. And if we're living somewhere where we feel that way, maybe that's not the right place for us, right? So at this time, I'm going to close my eyes and share with you channeling from my higher selves. And yeah, I would just invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Enjoy what comes through next. And thank you again for joining me here today. It's been fun sharing with you. Okay. You all have higher selves, and you all have intuition. Each and every human being on planet Earth has a higher self and has a spirit team guiding them that informs your intuition. You know you've heard a whisper in your ear, or you have felt when something is off. You know when something is in alignment and not. Don't distrust yourself. Trusting yourself means learning to follow your intuition so that it guides you. You are all being guided by your inner awareness. You have passions, and you have the power to follow your passions. Find the courage to follow what brings you joy. Find the courage to follow your passions. And it might only be one passion, and that's enough. That's your service to the world. Your service doesn't have to be hard or frightful. It's meant to feel easy, something you can do in your sleep. Being courageous means sharing your truth authentically with others. It doesn't have to be on video or social media. Just share with one person. Share your truth with someone today, even if it's scary, even if you've been holding on to it for a long time, and do it in a respectful way. We can all be respectful with one another. You know what it means and what it looks like and what it feels like to be respectful with another being. Being courageous is your birthright. Being honorable with yourself is your truth. The old saying, "The truth shall set you free," is more like, truth is your freedom. When we are true with ourselves and others, we are free because we are not holding back anything. We are not misleading ourselves or anyone else. For example, if you don't like somebody, you can tell them. Then at least they'll know and stop pursuing you. But the blind leading the blind goes nowhere. You'll fumble, you'll fall, you'll get back up, and you'll fumble and fall again with no clear direction. So open your heart, your heart's sight. Your heart knows the path forward. It has always known how to lead and guide you. Lisa Eve has trusted us today to share this message with you, even though she was scared and frightful to do so. She wants to check and make sure everything is going to be okay. Okay for you and in alignment for you. She has had a long history of hiding and speaking only when things felt comfortable. She likes to make sure everything is perfect for you. But the truth is, she's following her heart's yearning to share with you. That is the truth. It feels like it is my path to share with you. I know in the past, whenever I've shared stories with friends about my dating escapades, it's always a good story. People learn things about me. It's funny. It's a journey. And I just like to share with you because it's fun, because we're not here meant to be alone on our paths. I know someone's listening, even if it's just one person or it's a million people. Someone is listening and gets it, is feeling it, understands it, aligns with it, or they're like, no, girl, I can't live your life like you. And that's okay. We all bring something so beautiful and unique to planet Earth. That is the love that we are bringing to the playground called life. So be your own wisdom channel for those close to you, for those who are around you. Help others when you can if you want to help them. And say no when you don't. Like when someone asks if you will help them move. If you don't want to do that, say no. If you really do want to help someone move, then offer your services. You know, maybe it's your friendship. In your friendship, you're just like, yeah, I'll help you move. But if you have a hidden agenda, maybe share what that is. Because we all hate it when there is a hidden agenda, and we can often feel it. If you have expectations of somebody, they're probably going to disappoint you. No one likes to be disappointed. And no one wants to be set up either. What is your truth? The truth is, my hair over half my face was bothering me the whole episode. The truth is that I am so grateful that I am still doing these episodes and I can still share with you. I am grateful for my being courageous, for committing to doing this every 2 weeks. And in 1 year's time, I only had one encore episode, and that was because I had the flu and I just had no energy. I had to put myself first. So wherever I am in the world, I will continue to bring you these episodes and share my truth with you. And I trust that wherever you are on your journey and on your path, you are finding your way. You are finding your way back home to your heart in a way that feels right for you. And if it doesn't feel right, if it's been a disappointing time for you, then you know it's time to change direction and change course. And let's do things better for ourselves. Let's treat ourselves with more love, kindness, and respect. Let's respect our bodies. Let's respect our mind. Let's respect our heart. I want to say our minds, our hearts, right? Plural. Because we are all one, and yet we all have our own individual life paths. So thank you again for tuning in. I will see you in the next episode. And remember, you are bigger than you think you are in terms of your energy. You are brighter and more loving than anyone can say. Anyone can say that about you. This is just like what's coming through. You are a beautiful soul on a beautiful planet. No matter what anyone has said to you about you, you are not that. Like, no matter what type of negative comment people have said to you about you, you're so much more beautiful and brighter than that. Honor that part of you. Honor your heart, and your heart will always guide you. See you in the next episode. Later. Thank you. The person I was talking about, who drove 2.5 hours to visit with me, sent me a text while I was recording this episode. And he explained that he had mentioned in his past that he had had a dark past. He didn't tell me exactly all the things that made him that person at the time. I just knew that when he was sharing things with me, that it made me very uncomfortable. And even if he's not that person now, and we all have a past, but there are ways in which we can share things with others. Like, it seemed like he was defending why he did what he did, instead of saying, I had a dark past and I know that this wasn't the right thing to do. And it felt like it was the thing I needed to do at that time. And I've noticed that there are people who will hold themselves accountable. You know, they can hold themselves accountable, like, I didn't do this right and I wanted to make it right. And that's who I was then, but it's not who I am now. And there's a lot of people who just justify it. Like, yeah, I did that and I would do it again. And for me, and what I welcome into my field energetically, is someone who can be accountable for their actions, past and present, and also sees, I guess, the side of what's right and what's wrong. And even though it could have been the right thing to do then, now would they repeat the same thing? Probably not. And he was saying that was his past. That's not who he is now. But the way that he shared his story about it didn't sound like he was saying, I wish I hadn't done that. No, it was kind of like, yeah, it is what it needed to be. Okay. Got it. Can you leave now? So, yeah. You know, and obviously because I was talking about him, he messaged me like there's an energetic connection there. But it wasn't just the dark past story that he shared with me. It was his expectation of sex with me. When men put women down to bring themselves back up, like he was commenting on my health. How's your health? Oh, maybe you need this, maybe you need that. You know, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't need anyone to tell me how to support myself, like what's best for me. Only I really know what's best for me. And if I'm asking you for guidance, that's different. But for someone to just come out and say certain things that would be meant to check myself, where did that come from? Yeah. You know, people who are watching us can say exactly what they see and intuitively pick up on things that we might not be aware of. But if it's not asked, like if it comes across unsolicited, like they just, I know I probably have done this in the past, and if I have, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if I did this in my past. Yes, when we share things that are unsolicited, is it really necessary? Do we really have to say that thing? Maybe we do. Maybe that's our truth. That's something we need to get off our chest. Just consider whether or not it will really improve someone's life by sharing it. Or is it only being said to improve your life? Is it just something you need to get off your chest, but you're not really thinking about how it's going to land for another? What's the impact going to be for another reading that or listening to that? Consider that when you're sharing your truth with another. There's so much that I would change in this setup, and I wouldn't be using this either, but the one that I did buy, I needed a different plug for my laptop, so I'm stuck with this for now. And it is what it is, and hopefully you won't mind because you're listening. You're not just judging me based on my setup. I might not be wearing enough makeup for you for this to be a solid podcast, or have the right background for it to be a professional podcast, or I might not be wearing the right clothes that you would deem appropriate for me to be wearing on this podcast. I'm just doing the best that I can with what I've got. And since you're not paying me for this podcast, I think that it's okay for me to wear what I want and show up the way that I can. Maybe this is like a blooper or a blooper reel at the end, but not really a blooper reel. Here's my checklist for a suitable partner for Lisa Eve. He needs to be mature. I need a mature partner. Someone who's done their work. And when I say work, they would know what I mean because they've done their work. If you have to question what does she mean by work, then you're not a match. This person needs to be stable, clear-minded, understands growth and can move with the flow, not religious, spiritual and not religious, believes in a higher power, and does not believe, though, that everybody has to ascribe to that same higher power. This person believes in themselves, is courageous, is brave, because I am all these things. We would not work if you need someone to help you do something that you couldn't honestly do yourself. And even though we all need help at times, if you've been courageous enough to live the life that you've been dreaming of and you are on that path, that is excellent. If you've been dreaming of a different life and you've never taken a step in that direction, we won't work out. Someone who is affluent on their own. What I mean by this is they don't need me to contribute to them, to their success financially. Someone who is happy in their own company, can take themselves out on dates. If you love to travel and you have a passport, check. Yet where we both might want to stay could be different. And if I have to pay the bigger expense up front, this is not going to work. Let's both enjoy a beautiful place together and financially be able to contribute equally and evenly so that we can enjoy more of it together. Also, don't expect sex with me off the top. I appreciate your attraction, and if you don't respect my timing and how I want to move with my timing, then we won't work out. There is more to me than just my body. Just like there's more to you than just your body. Be interested and curious about me authentically. Do your homework about me before you meet with me. Ask me questions about myself. Don't only talk about yourself. Don't cut me off either. I'm just reflecting on the person I was speaking with before. I would share something and then he would come right in with something else. He would just come in with something else, like he wasn't even listening to what I was sharing. He wanted to talk about himself. Please iron your clothes if we're going to meet. Please iron your clothes or have them pressed, Please. That matters to me. It matters to me that you put in effort. And I like to be casual too. Probably more casual than not. And I don't wear heels. I don't wear heels anymore. So if you like a woman who wears heels, I don't wear heels anymore because it's bad for my back. Also, my fingernails and my toenails are not polished, just so you know. And as you can see, I don't wear makeup really much. So just accept me for who I am. Because I know no one likes to feel like they have to change for somebody. We're either a match or we aren't. How are we taking care of ourselves? Also, if you smoke, that's a deal breaker. No smoking of any kind. I used to smoke weed. I don't anymore. I have smoked, I did in my 20s smoke cigarettes for a brief time, but my body just couldn't handle it. Like, even if I thought it was cool, my body was like, hell no, girl, this is not for us. So I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any drugs. I don't drink alcohol. And it would be my preference that you don't do these things either. And you don't you don't have an addiction that you need in order to enjoy your life. I feel like drinking alcohol once in a while is fine. But if you feel like every day you have to have a drink just to exist, that's not for me. And I don't really want that in my field. I don't want that in the energy that we share together. So if you feel like you have to have an external substance to be happy, we are not a match. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video. Later. Thank you for being here. I am Lisa Eve, and this is the Wisdom Channel, Bring Love to the Playground. New episodes air every second and fourth Thursday. You can watch more on YouTube at Lisa Eve or listen on all your favorite podcast platforms. To find out more about me and my work, visit thehappychannel.com, where all paths lead back to self-love and joy. And if you're on a journey of healing and self-discovery, my book, The Love Channel, Finding Your Way to Happiness, is waiting for you on Amazon. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, keep your heart open, and remember, you have the power to heal.